In my last video, I hired 5 designers to create competing covers for Cabin 5, a young adult sci-fi novel. These were the 2 most popular choices, so I met with my co-author to get her opinion on which cover to move forward with. I've been very conflicted on my end.
I mean, I really like them both. I think that it would be more interesting to go into the, I think you said, naturalist aspects. I feel like that would be really fun. Basically, I was saying that I, agree with you. I like cover A better, because I feel like it fits more of how I envision the book going.
After we decided which concept to move forward with, I rehired the initial designer to make revisions based on suggestions that people left in the comments of my last video. I'm really pleased with how the final version has turned out. You'll have a chance to see it later on in this video, as well as a breakdown of everything that we changed compared to the version that you just saw. However, before we get into that, I am really excited to take you behind the scenes of my initial meetings with the co-author, where we started to flesh out the plot and characters of Cabin 5. Here's a quick introduction from her.
Hi, my name is Laurel Glynn O'Brien. I'm 17 and I'm from Texas. I really like mystery novels. I read crazy amount of mystery novels. You will never catch me without a book. I'm always reading a book. And I'm so excited to be co-authoring Cabin 5. I've never written a book before, I've written books before, but I've never published a book before, so this is just a really exciting opportunity.
What you're about to see is an edited cut of my first 2 meetings with Laurel. This is the first time I have ever co-written a book before, so the process is entirely new to me. I thought I should also mention that this is probably not a very conventional process as well, because normally you don't have the cover design until later on in the process, like when the book is almost done or even completely finished and publication ready. So in this case, we're kind of working backwards. You'll notice that we are basing our characters on the silhouettes of the characters that are on the cover. So this is not the normal way that it's done, and I just wanted to point that out. But with all that being said, let us dive into it. Did you have any thoughts on how many POV characters there should be? With the cover, there's probably 2 or 3.
3 at most, maybe. But I was thinking about what you said when you were talking about, how maybe one of the characters could be the child of a billionaire who runs a tech company. And I was thinking that it could be interesting to have a sibling duo, and also maybe they have different perspectives on the billionaire because they have different relationships with their parents.
Yeah, I think that could be really cool.
There is a 3rd character on the cover in the cabin, if we want to call it a cabin.
It looks like there's a backpack and short hair. So I don't know if that would be a main character or...
To me, it's giving off villain vibes.
Villain?
Yeah, I feel like it's sort of ominous. Another student who's, I don't know, got some knowledge that the other students don't, a hidden agenda or something.
How far in advance do you think would be good to start, before they get to the camp?
When they're told that they're going to the camp. Because I never envisioned them as, choosing to.
Right.
I always envisioned them being, their parents being you're going to go to this camp, but they're why?
That could be really fun if it's one of those fancy dinner scenes.
Yeah.
If we do the sibling duo direction, what kind of dynamic do you like to write with siblings?
Well, I've never tried to.
Really?
No, I haven't. I mean, I've always done they're not related to each other, that's why I thought the siblings duo would be interesting. We could do the girl being super I want to escape this camp, and she's super conniving, she's trying to find ways to escape, while the guy's just kind of let's just make it work, you know?
What are your thoughts? Where should we be starting with all of this? It's kind of, I've just been hopping all over the place.
I have no idea. What I did is I took out my computer an hour before this meeting, and I wrote a bunch of bullet points.
Oh, let's hear them.
The billionaire donates money to the camp. So I was also thinking that it could be interesting if they see familiar things, nothing is familiar to them in the camp because there's no technology, but they still see reminders of their life because he donated a lot of money to the camp, and probably some designs
dedicated to their sponsor type.
Yeah. It would have his name written all over it.
I'm trying to work backwards now of an interesting finale, I guess. Because the story you're working on right now is mystery, right?
Yes.
I don't know, would you be more interested in, like, some kind of big reveal?
Yeah. I think, I think I like mystery stories better when they're, like, a little bit on the darker side. Like, I've read a couple mysteries that were, like, supposed to be lighthearted, and I was like, okay, well. Like, it just, like, it didn't hit the same.
Yeah, one of my initial concepts, I guess, was more cultish, like the anti-technology to the extreme.
I really like that idea.
But I never thought about it deep enough to think what would be the goal of whoever's running this. And also, if it's something really sinister, then why would the billionaire donate and then send his kids? Unless he doesn't know.
No, he wouldn't know. He sends his kids there, maybe thinking that they'll gain something from it. He or she runs like a giant tech company, but doesn't want the kids to be like consuming what he's like putting out into the world.
I'm wondering if that were the case, if it would be more interesting to have people from different backgrounds, just for the variety's sake. But I do really like the sibling dynamic, so that's tricky.
I mean, we could also do it like they're not related to each other at all. Like that could be cool too. Maybe the billionaire is like not as not so like, oh, you can't use any technology, but maybe like it's like, oh, like you can use some technology, but you can't be like addicted to it. And then maybe like the other character comes from a place where there's like barely any.
So we have a girl and a guy on the cover. Who do you think would be more interesting as like the billionaire's child?
The girl.
And then I guess it's the question of the boy who's coming from a place with less tech.
He should just be like, oh, wow, like, this is great. You know, like, when he's at the camp. Like, I think he should also be, like, a little bit shocked. Maybe his lifestyle is sort of similar to ours. And not everything in my house is automated, but, like, maybe, like, he's got, like, a computer.
That would probably be related to, like, financial situation, perhaps. So maybe it's, like, a paid camp, but they give out these full-ride scholarships, and he's just excited to have something to do over the summer.
Oh, yeah. So he's like excited for it, and then
yeah, that could be
she's
fun.
Like dreading it. And he's like, I feel like that'd be really funny. If that's the case, I think that the starting point could be really interesting. Like the two characters like hearing that they're going to the camp, and like the girls like starts like getting in an argument. It's like, I'm not going, but the guy's like, oh my god, yes. Do
you think it's something that he would pursue, like apply for?
If he applied for it, it would like what is he showing off? Like what are his, you know, like we didn't figure out that. Maybe like I think it could be interesting if he applies for it.
Maybe that's part of the mystery is like what exactly they're looking for.
Oh yeah. Like maybe they don't accept the people that you would expect, and like somehow one of the characters figures that out.
Right off the bat so far, like do you have a preference for either of these characters?
I like the girl, but I can write either.
I can write either too. I mean, if you want to take the girl, I can do the boy.
Yeah, sure. I'm very flexible.
Do you have any other just general ideas that you didn't get to say earlier?
Seeing how the cars work and how people get from one place to another. That also like opens it up to like how do people around the camp get around?
Right.
And like what are the administrators and the people that like run the camp? How are they getting places? That'd be really ironic if they were like no technology and they had like flying cars and things. But yeah, or like they're like biking.
Yeah, they've never seen a bike before.
If I'd never seen a bike before, I'd be like, that looks like a torture device.
Yeah, it'd be really fun to have them learn how to do stuff that even now it's like everyone knows how to do. That's been replaced by tech.
Like learning how to ride a bike.
That could be funny. Yeah. Do you want to maybe each work on our characters and their backstories and stuff, and then just share in the next meeting?
Sounds great. I think.
Bye.
Thanks.
So this is the final version that we ended up with.
Oh wow! I like the colors.
I think the inside colors are pretty much the same, but the outside is black. And then I'll just explain some of the changes for people who are watching this too. The font at the bottom is slightly different. At the top here, it's framed. There's slightly more details in the city buildings if you zoom in. This part was changed a little too, like to be a little bit more clean. And then obviously the cabin is completely different. Part of me kind of was leaning towards sticking with the original because it looked very unique, but I think you're totally right with the points that you brought up. That could be interesting for like abuse of technology, perhaps. Whoever is running it has power to like lock doors.
But I did picture it as it being like a rickety old cabin.
I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out.
No, I like it. Yeah, it looks really good.
It seemed like you read through some of my notes.
Yeah, I did.
I'm starting to second guess some of my ideas, but
I mean, me too, so.
I don't know. Do you want to like go through the notes on your end?
Sure, yeah, okay. We talked about, like, one of the characters being the son or daughter, daughter in this case, of, like, a major tech billionaire. If the father and the mother disagreed about things regarding technology, that could also explain, like, why she would even go to that camp in the first place and why they would donate so much money to it. So I was thinking that maybe the dad would just be like, oh, like, the world is just, like, an awful place now with all this technology. He would sort of, like, train her or in some way to, like, not be so reliant on technology. That way she's, like, not useless when they're, like, trying to, like, figure out the Cabin 5 mystery. Tea drinker, because I'm a tea drinker. Night owl, because I'm a night owl. I was thinking that she would be pretty smart. I was picturing her to going to, like, a really, like, fancy school because her family's so rich, because her mom owns this big company. I was thinking that maybe, like, some of her peers' parents would be employed by her mom, and that could create, like, a really, like, interesting dynamic if we wanted to explore how she reacts with her peers. Because I feel like that would be so weird if you're, like, talking to this girl, like, okay, like, and, like, your mom, like she owns the company that my parents work for. Like, it's like, ugh. She would only see, like, the good side of technology, and I was thinking that maybe the camp would sort of show her, like, the bad side of technology and have her, like, sort of questioning her entire life. Your character likes, like, pen and paper and, like, things like that, and I was thinking that maybe she'd be, like, disgusted by it. And I was thinking that could be interesting for them to be, like, so polar opposites, because I was picturing them to eventually be friends, but the more that I wrote the characters, the more I was like, what the?
I actually had a bit of a realization the other day for the boy on the cover. I probably have a tendency to write more like angsty characters, I suppose, and so like my default idea going into this was to make him kind of like looking down on people who use too much technology as a way to cope. But then I remembered how you had the idea of a more like analytical girl and then kind of a goofier guy character.
I don't know, I like how he is now. Like, I was reading through it and I was like, it's not at all how I envisioned, but I kind of like it better.
Okay.
So
I guess we could move forward with this. Yeah, and then my concept for his parents were that they run a shop together, or maybe two different shops, I don't know, in this old district. The old district of the city would just kind of be like a tourist attraction almost to people from other parts of the city. And then my main idea for his personality was him being insecure about having like less tech growing up, and then kind of looking down on people as a way to cope. And I think this could be backed up a lot by his parents, because they probably share a similar kind of elitist personality. They're very passionate about old-fashioned things and keeping traditions going, writing in journals, maybe watching TV and movies that people don't know about but are popular right now. It makes it hard for him to get along with people in school if he doesn't really give them a chance, or they see him as weird because he insists on turning in homework like handwritten instead of on a computer or stuff like that. For the name ideas, I'm also like not really sure. I was thinking like Archie, Charlie, Clay, like very basic names.
I like those names. I was looking at them, I was like, those are good. Yeah. I think that would be like super fitting if he had like an old-timey name that's like old-timey now, and it's like even more old-timey for then, you know?
Yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on whether or not they would know each other before the camp or be in the same city. Because I think you had mentioned her potentially going to the internet cafes, which he would go to, so I'm not sure if that would be aligned or not.
I was thinking about that. I don't like, because I was like, well, maybe she would go, but I don't know if she would. I mean, I was thinking that maybe she'd go to a Wi-Fi cafe, because like she was like, oh, like, I mean, like, nobody pays attention to me if I go and I just like sit here. So I was thinking more along those lines, but I don't know if she would just like go to her room. Maybe that's what she would do instead. Because I think I had like a whole paragraph where I was like talking about that, because I was like, if they already knew each other before the story started, I think they would like each other. It would be an interesting dynamic, because I think that they would understand each other, but they would disagree with each other a lot. But if they met at the camp, then I think that they would really hate each other immediately.
Based on what's popular with readers, probably them not getting along would be more interesting of a dynamic.
I'm kind of leaning towards that too.
I saw your ideas were to have the girl's main goal to be to escape. Whereas the boy would want to be there.
I was picturing them trying to escape together, but then I was like, why would he want to escape?
my idea for making him want to escape is if he realizes that something really sketchy is going on.
I was definitely picturing it to be like very culty, so that could like play into how dark we want it to be.
But I don't know what the ultimate goal would be, to bring them on as employees of some kind of thing. I'm not really sure.
I've thought about it a lot, but I just can't find an idea that I like and that one that like makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to just take some time to brainstorm the mystery for it? We can meet again maybe in a week or two if you have time.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, okay, bye.
Thank you so much for sticking around to watch this behind the scenes process. I'm really not sure how interesting it is to watch our Zoom meetings, so if you enjoyed this, please let me know by giving this video a like. Also, while you're at it, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on our character names. These are the ideas for girl on cover, and these are the ideas for boy on cover. If any of the names resonate for you, please give it a vote in the comments, or if you have even other ideas, you're welcome to share. As a final note, if Cabin 5 sounds like a book you'd be interested in reading, it is available for pre-order right now on the Lost Island Press website for just $1.99. You know where the link is.